SBC Media.
Welcome to the iGaming Daily Podcast, analysing the news from the betting and gaming industry all over the globe, supported by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market.
Good afternoon and welcome to the iGaming Daily, brought to you by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market. 56% of the EGR Power 50 personalised player experiences with Optimove. And as a special offer, Optimove are providing new clients with a free first month when they buy Optimove. For more information and to claim the free first month, go to optimove.com/SBC. Links will also be left in the podcast description. Today's iGaming Daily is very much a game of two halves. For the first half, I'm joined by Kelli Weaver, the VP of Relationships at North America at SBC, and we're going to discuss some really interesting figures from the National Indian Gaming Commission around how tribes are continuing to thrive. And in the second half, we're going to take it to the pitch, and it's me and Lucía Mouriño are going to discuss the Copa America and everything that's been happening in the USA as, so some really interesting football takes place. We're also going to touch on the Euros as well, because it's been a really turbulent tournament. But to kick us off, Kelli, thanks ever so much for joining us. How are you? How is everything?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm very excited, just coming off of the Canadian Gaming Summit, where we saw increased numbers and such an exciting time there for operators.
It was, right? How was the, I wasn't lucky enough to be there, but how was the summit? It seemed like it went really well, and there was a real buzz about Canada.
There was, and we are looking at so I work with several of the commercial operators, but also the First Nations, and so we had a record number of First Nations attend this year, which was very exciting, and seeing their interest in gaming, and hopefully some new openings.
Watch this space for sure, but for now we're going to talk about figures from the National Indian Gaming Commission. And they revealed a record year for gross gaming revenue from tribal gaming. Yeah, just how much of a testament is this to the sector?
Yes, last week they reported, the gross gaming revenue for fiscal year 2023 was $41 billion. That is massive. They reported that's an increase of 2.4% over the previous year. With such record numbers, we look at what this is doing for the tribal gaming sector, and that, it shows that tribes are contenders in the gaming industry. We're experiencing year over year, continued growth. We're an economic powerhouse providing jobs, not just for our own tribal membership, but for the surrounding communities, as well as infrastructure, community, services, policing services, roadways, things that we're doing, like I said, off of our own lands and out into the community. And it also shows that we're resilient. It seems that from the time that we entered gaming, we had to prove ourselves. And with a number, like 41 billion, it shows that we are here, and we are definitely a powerhouse in the industry, and we're here to stay. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, 100%. It's far more than contenders. You are heavyweights in this industry now, and it's really good to see. And do you believe the continued growth of the sector, and the fact that tribal gaming continues to thrive really speaks to the importance of the strong regulatory framework and the diversity of tribal gaming as well?
I do. I think that, when we go back to the early days, when tribes were, permitted to start having gaming, the federal government, put in place all of these requirements that we must adhere to. So then they had to create the National Indian Gaming Commission to have someone oversee those guidelines. So then the tribes created their own tribal gaming commissions to ensure that we were in compliance with those federal requirements. And in doing so, it has allowed us to Look at contracts, agreements that we enter into, to look at the types of technology or, software that's coming into place into our gaming facilities. It also has allowed us to work together a bit more closely with the operations side. It has kind of forced operators, and I say operators, the tribal operators, so the casinos themselves, to work with the gaming commissions, to work with every department actually, to ensure that we continue to see this growth. It's all in an effort, again, to maintain that compliance with NIGC. I don't want to say that we want a lot of compliance, because we don't, but at the same time, it has been good. I think it's created definitely a safety net for us.
Yeah, that's an important point, and it's very valid that you touch on the tech as well. We've seen iGaming and casinos and just gaming in general across North America grow at such a rapid rate. How crucial has the ability of tribal gaming to adapt to new technologies been when it comes to ensuring their growth and, enabling them to continue to grow and to thrive and be the heavyweight that they are in this sector?
I think when we look back at, and I hate to mention COVID, it just keeps popping up, but when we look at, the technology that we began to become more comfortable with during COVID, technology was there. We just really hadn't used it as much or utilized it as much as we could have been. I remember my first Zoom call and how nervous I was, and thinking everyone can see me on camera. And it was just, it was a different way. And so now when I travel, I said I went to Canada, I have a digital wallet on my phone. My boarding pass is on my phone. I just, tap my phone or my watch and I pay for something. I do online grocery order pickups. Everything has become technology based. When I talk about SBC, a lot of times I explain to people we are a technology conference. They always want to know, because we're bringing all this technology into the space. And so I think it's been really important for casinos, casinos across the board, really just, that's the new world that we live in. And so for tribal gaming, may not have had, as anyone did, had rules for how we would utilize this technology. And so we really had to review that and make sure that we were doing it in a safe way. You look at cybersecurity and things that have emerged from that even. We're on to the next phase, past the digital phase in technology. Now we're looking at how do we protect the data, and I think we just continue. We're not going to see the end of it. It's just going to continue to advance. And I think it helps us grow. I think that's what people expect when they do anything. They expect to be using an app somehow and to have technology at their fingertips.
Well, that is it, exactly, right? And that brings me on to my next question, to be honest, because, off the back of COVID and as technology continues to evolve, consumer preferences and, player preferences, let's say, really do change. What have tribal operators done, apart from the points that you've already made, to be honest, what have tribal operators done to accommodate the new landscape and the new needs and desires of consumers? I will say, and I don't know that everyone will agree with me, but I will say this. So we do love technology, but tribal casinos, all casinos really, are still very focused on the land-based portion, so I think having, everyone likes to go in and play slot machines or table games, and that does get to a little bit to where maybe some iGaming comes into play, where you can do some of that on your phone. But it's to be rewarded once you get into the brick and mortar. We have these amazing facilities, resorts, that you can go to. You can go in for a spa day. You can go into a 5-star restaurant. I can go in and host an event at a tribal casino, a conference. We can go in and,
play Top Golf in a bay, so they really have expanded the entertainment side. You can go see a concert. There are breweries. So we expanded upon those amenities as well during COVID, and to engage people, to the patrons, to continue coming in to the casino. But at the same time, sports betting came into play, and iGaming in a few states. And so, I think it's a good mix, and it brings in different age groups, a diverse group of people to come in. It's almost, there's more of something for everyone now versus before.
Yeah, it becomes an experience for everyone going, right? Not just about, you're not just going there to play games. It becomes part of the whole experience. And, we are running close to the end of time, but I did want to give you an opportunity to maybe pay homage to some of the states that have got it right, because there will be others listening that will be thinking, how can we really tap into this? So are there any states that you believe have really got it right when it comes to kind of the relationship between commercial operators and tribe operators, and also just the regulatory frameworks as well?
I will say when we were at North America, we had a panel on Michigan. Yeah. Michigan is one of the few states that has both iGaming and sports betting, and they have seen a lift in their GGR at the gaming facility itself, even though they're offering iGaming, even though they're offering sports betting. And so I would look to Michigan and have conversations with, those operators and look at what they've done to continue their increasingly successful growth. Amazing.
Kelli, thank you ever so much for your time, and congratulations on a really strong period for tribal gaming. It's been great to see, and it's sure to continue to thrive as well. And we go to a quick ad break now, and then we are joined for the second half by Lucía Mouriño, and we're going to talk football or talk soccer, I should say, and talk about the Copa America. Thank you ever so much, Kelli. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
SBC Leaders connects the gambling industry's top-tier operators and associations to share the best ideas, collaborate on solving the biggest issues, and push innovation throughout the betting and gaming industry. If you're an operator and want to join the discussion, visit sbcleaders.com for more information.
Welcome to the second half of today's iGaming Daily, and unlike Gareth Southgate, we are making a halftime substitution. After a stellar performance from Kelli Weaver in the first half of the episode, we have brought on our very own super sub, Lucía Mouriño, to talk about the Copa America and all things international football. Lou, how are you doing? You seem very happy, and understandably, because Argentina really are cooking. The world champions are really cooking in the Copa America.
Yeah, I'm very excited, first of all, to be here with you guys. It's been a while. And yeah, I'm really glad that there is someone out there making changes at the halftime, because like you said it yourself. I mean, I guess we're going to talk about England in a little bit, but yeah, changes are needed sometimes.
They truly are. And the Copa is going on at the same time, and we're going to talk about that. But what's engagement been like? You're based in the US. What's engagement been like there for the Euros? Has there been much fandom? Have people been tuning in?
Yeah, I think it has to do with the fact that the next World Cup would be played here, and as well Mexico and Canada. But there is a lot of push right now around football, what they call soccer. It's football. There is a lot of excitement. So they're really pushing this on like Fox Sports, ESPN, channels that would normally air something different other than football. And like I've seen on social media as well, they all say this is the best Euros that we've watched in a long time. Wow. I don't know what long time means for them, because they don't really care that much about football. Obviously, this is changing now, but they all agree that the level that they're seeing right now, it's something that it's surprising in a good way.
Yeah, that is good. And I mean, we were speaking before a little bit about how I've enjoyed the tournament, and it's kind of been two tournaments. There's been the England perspective, which has been not very fun, but aside from that, the football at the tournament has been fantastic. You raised an interesting point, actually, about the broadcasters really getting involved, and some of the bigger broadcasters picking it up in the US. In the UK, the Copa has been on Premier Sports, and it's a behind a subscription, behind a new subscription. They don't carry any other major rights, really. I think they have the Scottish Cup and La Liga, which obviously is not being played right now. And that's been a real challenge here. Obviously, the kickoff times are swell tough. It's late, but I don't think that would have put people off if it was on a mainstream broadcaster. And yeah, that's tricky. It's been really tricky. There's not been the engagement in the Copa that perhaps would have been anticipated from UK fans. But that might change now we get to the knockouts, because we've got some really spicy games, right?
Yeah, and I guess that it's the same in France, and that's why probably Mbappé said that the level in South America is not the same as the level in Europe. He probably can watch the games, which is why he probably said that. So yeah.
Yeah, he's not really had the best tournament either so far, Mbappé, but yeah. And the obviously it's being played in the US as well, the Copa, but the US went out in the group stage. How has that led to fans? Have fans been a bit deflated off the back of that, or is there still this excitement around the tournament?
Well, I mean, they're pretty pissed off right now. Like they want US soccer to fire the head coach, rightfully so.
Wow.
Like there's actually like a screenshot that someone took around the game, and it's the head coach telling the players that Panama had equalized in the other game, meaning that the US was gonna make it out of the group stage. Like that happened in the middle of the match. Instead of focusing on the game that they were playing, they were thinking about the other game. And like a few minutes later, Uruguay scored. Like, they are really angry about that. Like, that is not the right mentality. You should be competing against better teams, because like if you keep competing against Canada, Mexico, Panama, Guatemala, like that level is not good enough to be competing against South American teams, let alone European teams. Yeah. So they're pretty focused on that subject at the moment. Like they're demanding the federation to do better. But yeah, I think like there's been like record number of attendees in this stadium, so the excitement is there. But they're pretty upset at the moment, rightfully so.
Obviously, the tournament is a big platform in Brazil amongst Brazilians. You know, we know just how passionate Brazilians are about football. Also Canada as well, probably less so. Well, definitely less so, but definitely in Canada, there's going to be eyes on the football. Betano, the principal partner, as these two markets are just so engaged with the tournament, how big can it be for them advertising at this tournament and having that principal partnership?
It can be huge. Like it's not only about them being in Brazil and being one of the biggest operators in Brazil now and in the future. Like it's about other countries as well. They recently launched in the province of Buenos Aires, and that is one of the biggest markets in LatAm in general. But like one thing that I wanted to discuss was the amount of betting companies that are being advertised during the Copa America. Obviously, Betano is all over the pitch, like we can see it. But this to me is very surprising, even though it is a CONMEBOL organized tournament. It's something that I have never seen before. And let me explain why. Like, we all know that the tournament is being played in the US, which is pretty strict when it comes to regulation, advertising, sponsorships. And I can tell you from a conversation a few months ago that I had with a senior member of Football Association in South America that at the time, because they were going to play in the US, they couldn't sign sponsorship deals with unlicensed operators or gambling companies if they weren't regulated / licensed in the US. Like they actually had to decline these deals because of the US regulations. And now you watch a game and you can see all these betting companies that are huge in LatAm, but that have no presence in the US. Like it's crazy in a good way how much it has evolved. And to me, this is probably because of the 2026 World Cup. We all know that FIFA actually has like the rights to sell these sponsorship packages, but in order to qualify, you need to meet certain requirements. But yeah, it's like, to me, it's very interesting to see that they allow this while playing in the US. And again, I think it has to do with the fact that they share the tournament with 2 other countries and they have different regulations, and they probably want to increase what they get from these sponsorship packages by allowing these kind of deals.
That's really interesting. So it's not something we're going to see replicated for the World Cup because of FIFA and because of right. It will be a bit more focused for the World Cup.
Yeah. I think so. Like, this is obviously a CONMEBOL tournament, but because we have CONCACAF teams, like, there is a gray area. But yeah. Much focus for the World Cup.
That's incredibly interesting. And has there been any backlash about the amount of sponsors, or has it been met okay? Has it been all right?
Not in the US. I haven't seen that. There is like a lot of discussion in Argentina at the moment about the amount of advertising that there is around sports betting, especially in Buenos Aires, in the city of Buenos Aires. Like, they recently said that they're not gonna give any more licenses in the city because of like how the companies are targeting, and I quote, like, young people. But I personally don't think that's the right path to go. Yeah. Like, if you wanna make sure that they're not exposed to that, then regulate it. Make sure that you have the right to do something about it. Like, prohibiting stuff never works well, especially in a market where everything is growing at the moment. So for Argentina, that is a really big discussion. But in the US, I haven't seen much about advertising. I think it has to do with them knowing that in the future it is coming, that they need to prepare for all these things that happen outside of the US that they cannot control.
Interesting. And it sets up interesting times for the upcoming World Cup as well. And I obviously can't let you leave without picking your 4 finalists, I guess, for both tournaments. I can't let you just pick a winner, because I know what you're going to say. You're going to pick the world champions. But who's the finalists? Who's going to be the finalists
for Copa America
and the Euros? What you got for me?
That's going to be a bit more complicated. But for Copa America, I would say Argentina and Uruguay.
You think Uruguay beating Brazil? Interesting.
They're doing really well.
They're doing good, yeah.
But I wouldn't bet on it, but they're doing really well. And oh God, I don't know about the Euro. I'm going to say England, because I feel like I was pretty harsh to
get some brownie points back. If ever you meet Harry Kane or Gareth Southgate, you can save them with that. And yeah.
And France is on the other side, right?
France is on the other side, yeah.
France, just because they're very lucky.
Yeah.
And they could come in second, just like in the World Cup.
I mean, yeah. England on the good side of the draw, they can get over the line, I think, and I don't know. Maybe Holland will beat England in a semi-final, or even Turkey.
Well, Holland is not what it was.
No.
So you have a good shot, I think.
I think so, as long as we improve. But I'll take Turkey in the final against Germany. A Turkey-Germany final. It'll be quite a good encounter. And I echo your thoughts, actually. I think Uruguay can do the business against Brazil, and then maybe even go on and beat Argentina in the final, and we can have a non-Argentina Brazil winner. It'd be a big upset.
Who knows? Yeah.
But
could happen.
But thanks ever so much, Lou. I appreciate you taking time out from pretending to work and watching football. Daily. And and we'll catch up next week as well, and hopefully look ahead to the finals involving England and Argentina in separate finals. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Thank you, Lou. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to today's iGaming Daily podcast, supported by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market. If you want to find out more about some of the subjects raised today, feel free to explore any of the sites in the SBC News network, or check out the latest edition of the SBC Leaders magazine. Happy reading.